I'm sitting in a lawyer's office. My parents are across the table. My dad leans forward. You dropped out. You're uneducated trash. Mom doesn't even look at me. Get lost. You're a nobody. Sign the paper and leave. They want me to hand over my half of Grandma's estate. They think I have no choice. But the folder in my lap says otherwise. They have no idea what's inside. And in about 10 minutes, their lawyer is going to ask them to leave. Have you ever been called a failure by the people who were supposed to believe in you? It's 2 a.m. where I'm writing this. Where are you watching from? Drop your time zone below and hit like if you've ever been underestimated. Because this story is about what happens when the nobody has receipts. Let me take you back 6 months, to the day they threw me out. 6 months earlier, I was in my 3rd year at a top university. Computer science, full ride. Then I got an offer to join a startup. Equity, ground floor, the whole dream. I took it, I dropped out. My parents lost it. We were at dinner. I told them. Dad's face went red. You're throwing your life away. No, I said. I'm building something. Mom stood up. You're an embarrassment. That night, my suitcase was on the lawn. Dad's last words. Don't come back until you're someone. I couch surfed. I lived on ramen and cold pizza. I coded 18 hours a day in a basement office that smelled like mildew. My brother, the golden child, the med student, stopped answering my calls. But Grandma believed in me. She was the one who taught me to code in the first place. Retired engineer, tough as nails. She used to say, keep records. Paper beats memory every time. So I did. I saved every email, every text, every bank statement. I screenshot everything. 3 months in, my startup got acquired. My parents had no idea. I didn't tell them. We hadn't spoken. Then Grandma died. And everything changed. 2 weeks after the funeral, my phone rang. Unknown number. It was Mom. No hello. No how are you. Just business. Your grandmother left an estate. You're named in the will. I waited. We need you to sign a waiver. Your brother deserves this. He stayed in school. He has loans. I felt my jaw tighten. What's the estate worth? Silence. Then Dad's voice in the background. Just tell her to do the right thing. Mom came back on. If you don't sign, you're choosing to hurt this family. Again. I want to see the will first, I said. Her tone turned cold. We'll send the paperwork. You have 72 hours. She hung up. 2 days later, an email arrived. Subject line. Action required. Estate of Eleanor Hayes. It was from a lawyer I'd never heard of. Attached was a waiver and a letter. The letter said I needed to renounce my inheritance to avoid family conflict and potential litigation. Potential litigation. They were threatening to sue me. For what? I had no idea, but the clock was ticking. The next morning, a FedEx envelope arrived. Inside, a formal demand letter and 3 affidavits. The letter accused me of undue influence over my grandmother while she was mentally incapacitated. I read it twice. My hands were shaking. The affidavits were from my uncle, my aunt, and my brother's fiancé. All of them claimed I had visited Grandma alone multiple times in her last weeks, that I had isolated her, manipulated her. It was a lie. A coordinated, calculated lie. I checked my bank account. $840. The startup acquisition payout was real, but it was still in escrow. I wouldn't see it for another 3 weeks. I couldn't afford a lawyer. Not yet. I sat on my apartment floor and stared at the letter. They had affidavits. They had a legal team. They had time and money. I thought I'd lost. But then I remembered Grandma's last words to me. Not the ones at the hospital, the ones in an email, 3 months before she died. I've put something in the cloud for you. Password is your birthday. Don't open it unless you need it. I grabbed my laptop. I typed in my birthday. The Dropbox opened. 1 folder, labeled for Maya, eyes only. Inside were 4 files. The first was a PDF, Last Will and Testament of Eleanor May Hayes, dated 3 weeks before her stroke, notarized, witnessed by her doctor and her neighbor. It was handwritten, in her perfect engineer's print. I leave my entire estate to my granddaughter, Maya Rose, for her courage and vision. I stared at the screen. The second file was a video, 14 minutes long. I clicked play. Grandma's face filled the screen. Thin but sharp-eyed, sitting in her living room. If you're watching this, they've come for the money. Don't let them. Her voice was steady. Angry even. I'm recording this because I know what they'll say. That I was confused. That you tricked me. She held up that day's newspaper. The date was clear. I am of sound mind. I made this choice, and I'm going to tell you why. The video kept going. She explained everything. The loan they never repaid. The pressure. The elder abuse. I had proof. Real, undeniable proof. But the memo. That's when I realized how deep this went. I didn't respond to the email. I needed time to think. That made them panic. The next day, my brother called. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Maya, I don't know what you did to Grandma, but Mom is in pieces. Just sign the waiver and move on. Don't be selfish. An hour later, my phone lit up. Messages from cousins I hadn't talked to in years. Why are you doing this to your family? Your parents are heartbroken. Dad had emailed the whole extended family. He'd painted me as a thief. Then my old roommate sent me a screenshot. My dad had messaged her on Facebook. He was asking for my bank details. He said it was a family emergency. He was trying to find my money. I felt my stomach drop. That night, my brother posted on Instagram. Nothing direct, just, family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's loyalty. The comments filled up with relatives agreeing. Our town is small. Word spreads fast. I had 48 hours left on the deadline. Then my brother's fiancée made a mistake. She sent an email to the wrong address, and I got a copy. The subject line, updated statement, review before filing. It was addressed to my mom, but I was CC'd, accident. Attached was a draft affidavit. My brother's fiancée had written it. It claimed I'd visited Grandma alone on September 15th, 20th, and 28th, that I'd taken cash, that I'd pressured her. I opened my photo archive. I was in Seattle those entire 2 weeks, for a conference. I had plane tickets, hotel receipts, geotagged photos. But that wasn't the worst part. The email had a second attachment, a PDF labeled withdrawal record. It was a table, $18,000 in cash withdrawals, spread over 3 months. Each line had a date, an amount, and Grandma's signature. I recognized that signature. It was from a birthday card she'd sent me years ago. They'd scanned it, copied it, forged it. I right-clicked the PDF. Properties, metadata, created November 3rd. 6 days ago, Grandma had died in August. I took a screenshot. Then another. I forwarded the email to a separate account. Then I looked up the number Grandma had saved in her Dropbox. Her real estate attorney, a woman named Linda Voss. I called her. Linda Voss answered on the second ring. I told her who I was. She said she'd been waiting for my call. Your grandmother spoke about you often. She knew they'd try this. I sent her the video, the will, and the forged email. She called me back an hour later. The will is valid, ironclad actually, but there's something else you need to know. She paused. Your grandmother's estate is worth $1.9 million. The house, investments, and a life insurance policy. I sat down. Your parents have known for 8 months. They were named in an earlier draft, but she changed it. Why? I asked. Because 2 years ago, they borrowed $75,000 from her. They said it was for your father's surgery. Linda's voice was calm, clinical. It wasn't. They bought a timeshare and paid for your brother's wedding deposit. She continued. Your grandmother kept the promissory note. They never made a single payment. In her final will, she forgave nothing. The debt stays, and it's deducted from any inheritance they might claim. I understood. If I signed the waiver, they'd split the estate 3 ways and erase the debt. If I didn't, they owed $75,000. Plus interest. Now I knew exactly what to do. I didn't want revenge. I wanted the truth on record. I hired Linda Voss. We filed the authenticated will in probate court that afternoon. She drafted a cease and desist letter to my parents' attorney. Subject, defamation and fraud. We attached 3 exhibits. The video, the forged email with metadata, the promissory note. Then I did something else. My startup payout hit my account. $230,000. I wasn't defenseless anymore. Linda scheduled a meeting. Mandatory. Her office. My parents, their lawyer, my brother. We sent a formal letter. All estate matters will be addressed in person, with counsel present. I didn't sleep the night before. I printed every document. 3 copies. I put them in sheet protectors and labeled each one. Professional. Calm. Grandma would have been proud. The meeting was set for 10 a.m. on a Thursday. I got there early. Linda met me in the lobby. Remember? She said. Let me do the talking. You just sit there and breathe. I nodded. At 10 on the dot, the conference room door opened. My parents walked in, my brother behind them. Their lawyer looked tired. They sat down. No one said hello. Dad looked at me like I was a stranger. Linda opened her folder. Let's begin. The conference room was small. Morning light through the blinds. A pitcher of water no one touched. Linda slid a document across the table. This is Eleanor Hayes' last will and testament. Signed, dated, notarized. It names Maya as sole beneficiary. Dad's lawyer picked it up. Skimmed it. His face didn't change. My dad leaned forward. She was confused. She didn't understand. Linda held up a hand. Let me show you something. She opened her laptop. Turned it toward them. Pressed play. Grandma's face filled the screen. If you're watching this, they've come for the money. The room went silent. Grandma kept talking. Her voice was strong, clear. I gave them chances. I lent them money they never repaid. They stole from me. Maya is the only one who loved me without asking for something. She held up the newspaper. The date stamp was visible. I am of sound mind. This is my choice. The video ended. My mother's face was pale. She looked at the table. Linda moved to the next slide. An email, projected on the screen. This is a draft affidavit submitted by your legal team. It claims Maya visited Eleanor on 3 specific dates in September. She clicked again. My boarding pass appeared. Maya was in Seattle. Here are her flight records, hotel receipts, 14 geotagged photos. Their lawyer shifted in his seat. Linda wasn't done. The affidavit also references a withdrawal record. $18,000. Signed by Eleanor. She pulled up the PDF, then the metadata. This document was created on November 3rd. Eleanor Hayes died on August 19th. The lawyer's pen stopped moving. The signature was forged. We've matched it to a birthday card from 2018. She looked at my parents. This is fraud. My dad started to speak. Linda cut him off. One more thing. She slid the promissory note across the table. You borrowed $75,000 from Eleanor 2 years ago. You've made 0 payments. The estate is valued at $1.9 million. This debt will be deducted immediately. My dad's face went red. We can explain. Their lawyer raised a hand. I need a moment with my clients. Linda nodded. You have 5 minutes. They stepped into the hall. When they came back, the lawyer spoke first. We'd like to discuss a settlement. Linda didn't blink. The will stands. The debt is due. You can repay it in installments, or we file a formal complaint for elder abuse and fraud. Silence. My mother looked at me for the first time. I didn't say a word. Their lawyer closed his folder. We'll be in touch. They left. Linda called me 2 days later. They'd agreed to settle. No lawsuit. No public filing. No contact. They'd repay the $75,000 in installments, garnished from my dad's pension. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt tired. My brother sent me one text. I didn't know. I didn't reply. Not out of cruelty. I just had nothing left to say. The estate closed 30 days later. The house sold to a young family with 2 kids. I kept Grandma's engineering textbooks, her wedding ring, and the last birthday card she sent me. I used part of the inheritance to set up a scholarship, the Eleanor Hayes Memorial Award. It's for students at the community college where she used to teach, students who choose unconventional paths. The first recipient was a 19-year-old who dropped out to start a nonprofit. I didn't go to the ceremony, but I saw the photo, Grandma's picture on the podium. That was enough. 2 of my cousins reached out to apologize. I accepted, but I kept my distance. I moved to a new city. I found a therapist. I started processing it all. There was no reconciliation with my parents. I didn't want one. I deleted their numbers. I blocked them on everything. My brother still sends a text every few months. I don't open them. It's not about punishment. It's about boundaries. I wake up in my own apartment now. Small, but it has a view. Grandma's photo sits on my desk, right next to my laptop. I think about what she said in that video. Don't let them take what you've earned. I didn't. And here's what I learned. You don't owe anyone access to your life, your success, or your peace. Not even family. Especially not family who only show up when there's something to take. I protected what Grandma built. I honored her choice. And I walked away clean. That's not revenge. That's respect. For her and for myself. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and self-respect? What did you do? Drop your story in the comments. I read everyone. And if this one hit home, hit subscribe. There's more where this came from. Oh, and one last thing. This is a fictionalized dramatization, not legal or financial advice. Always consult a licensed professional for your situation. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.